It did not take long for PlayerUnknown's, Battlegrounds, or PUBG if you're nasty to take the gaming world by storm. Steam charts indicate that PUBG topped out at over 3 million concurrent players on Steam in January 2018, and it has continued to see millions of players in the months that followed. And while free-to-play phenomenon Fortnite may have dethroned Bluehole's Battle Royale title, no one can deny that, for at least a while, PUBG dominated the gaming landscape like few games ever have. Whether you live and breathe PUBG, or you just can't understand why it is so damn popular, you can't deny the impact the game has had on our pop culture landscape. Let's dive right into the action and examine some of the most intriguing facts about this divisive game. Who is PlayerUnknown? Brendan Green is the man behind the PlayerUnknown moniker, and he actually fell into game development later than most. Green, originally a photographer and graphic designer by trade, didn't start developing games until he was into his 30s. And even then he was designing mods for existing games like Arma 2 and its offshoot DayZ. Kotaku reports that Green's transformation of these popular shooters caused others in the industry to take notice, and Sony Online Entertainment, now known as Daybreak Game Company, brought him in to consult on what turned into H1Z1 King of the Kill. This experience served as the groundwork for Green's teaming with developer Bluehole for what would become PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. The birth of a genre. Green called his mods for the Arma series and DayZ Battle Royale. According to Polygon, he named them after the 2000 Japanese film of the same name, which follows a group of teenagers who are dropped on an island by the Japanese government and forced to fight to the death in a form of population control. His mods sought to replicate that every man for himself fight to the death that the Battle Royale movie created. As a result, Green's mod work for the Arma series and DayZ are widely regarded as the first true entries in the Battle Royale genre, and PUBG is a culmination of that work. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds may not be the granddaddy, but PlayerUnknown himself most certainly is. Full steam ahead. It did not take long for gamers to take to PUBG. PC Games N writes that it overtook League of Legends as the most streamed game on Twitch in August 2017, and the following month passed Dota 2 as the top game on Steam. PUBG's randomness, cutthroat gameplay, ridiculous skill ceiling, and high-stakes shootouts made it an intense experience to watch and play. With all the exposure the game was getting, despite still being in early access, it took over the Steam sales charts and concurrent players list. According to Steam charts, since October of 2017, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has averaged over 1 million players online at any given time. During that time, it has always peaked at well over 2 million concurrent players. It saw an even bigger increase once the game got its full release in December 2017, peaking at over 3 million concurrent players during that month and January 2018. Mo money, mo problems. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds continued to dominate the gaming landscape, but that did not come without its fair share of controversy. According to Polygon, Green repeatedly stated PUBG would not see microtransactions until after the game left early access. Yet Green and Bluehole added loot boxes that could only be opened with purchasable keys in July of 2017. Naturally, fan outrage followed. Green issued an apology for the poor communication on Steam. The microtransactions, however, stayed put. Although the items are purely cosmetic in nature, the decision still left a lot of fans feeling betrayed. However, this controversy did little to damage PUBG's popularity. In fact, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has some of the most expensive items on the Steam marketplace. Those who pre-ordered the game from the PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds website received the PlayerUnknown set, which is listed on the Steam marketplace for, well, a lot of real, actual money. Suffice it to say, those who play a lot of PUBG and have some luck with loot boxes could make a pretty penny off their cosmetic items. Cheater. The amount of players that have been banned from PUBG is more than enough proof of a gigantic issue plaguing the game: cheaters. PUBG uses an anti-cheat software from BattlEye, and the game allows players to report suspicious activity through deathcam replays. When the game was released out of early access, BattlEye took to Twitter to announce a statistic indicating that they had banned over 1.5 million accounts in 2017. With the game's full release, that number increased exponentially. They announced that they banned just over 1 million PUBG accounts in January 2018 alone, and stated things continue to escalate. In addition to reporting and banning cheaters, Green and the other developers of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds have taken to stopping cheaters outside of the realm of the game. PC Gamer writes that Tencent, a gaming company that distributes the game to players in China, helped local authorities track down and arrest around 120 people for developing cheating software for PUBG. It just goes to show, cheaters lose out in the end. A challenger approaches. We can't talk about PUBG without talking about Fortnite. At first glance, the two look extremely different. The graphics, the gameplay, the overall feel. PUBG boasts a patient, realistic style, while Fortnite has players dancing atop missiles or sniping opponents dressed as pink unicorns. Still, The Verge writes that Bluehole has got on record that they were concerned about Fortnite replicating the experience for which PUBG is known. That's why it wasn't such a surprise when, in May 2018, Bluehole's subsidiary PUBG Corporation filed a copyright infringement suit against Epic Games in South Korean courts. While fans braced for the two gaming rivals to have a battle royale of their own in a courtroom, the resolution was decidedly anticlimactic. According to Polygon, PUBG Corp quietly dropped the lawsuit the very next month. No matter what the future holds for these two games, chances are that their fans and developers will be keeping an eye out for one another as both hugely popular titles grow.
Isn't the universe big enough for both of us?